Hello and good afternoon. It is a very warm welcome from Point Blank Music School here in central London. My name is John. I'm your course advisor for today's event. I'll be guiding you through what we're going to look at today, and I'm very happy to be joined by James Wilson-Reid. James, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. So James is not only an amazing musician and songwriter, he's one of our lecturers, but most importantly, he's actually the program leader for the music production and songwriting degree, which is the program that we are here to talk about today. So basically, if you have any questions about the program at all, this is the best person we could possibly have here to answer them. So just to give you a little bit of an overview of what we'll do today, I'm just going to give you a bit of an intro just about the school in general and what you can kind of expect if you do decide that you want to come and study with us. So you may have already applied, you may have come to one of our open days previously, you may be just thinking about it, but it's really specifically to find out a lot more about life as a point blank student, specifically if you're thinking about the music production and songwriting degree. So after that, we'll have a chat with James to find out a bit more about his experience, his kind of background, what he teaches here, and we'll have a much bigger deep dive into the program itself. A little bit later on, we'll also have one of our expert lecturers joining us for a special kind of sneak peek at his process. Simon Ginadu is his name, so he'll be joining us a little bit later on. Make sure you hang around for that. He'll be talking about some of the artists that he's worked with and how he approaches songwriting essentially. So we're obviously broadcasting here from our London campus, but we're going out across YouTube all over the world. So do let us know where you're joining us from. You'll see on your screen there underneath or to the side, there's a chat window. Just put in, where you're joining us from. We'll give you a bit of a shout out. And of course, if you do have any questions at all, get them in that chat room. Myself and James and Simon will be answering them as we're going along. And we'll also have a Q&A at the end of this session. So to kick us off, I just wanted to play a short video just to kind of give you a bit of an overview of the program in general. So check this out and we'll meet back in just a sec.
The heart and soul of the music industry is the songwriting. It's like the script for a movie. Without that, it's very hard to move forward.
The heartbeat, it's what the music industry relies on. Without a great song, we won't have an artist. It's what feeds the industry. Without a song, what's there to produce?
It is kind of spiritual. I've always said that when I'm writing is almost like I'm communicating with another side. It's like a language that we're all born able to speak.
It's not going to just end in the classroom. You'll find that different collaborations brings out something different each time.
What you're writing now is good enough. You're at point blank because the tutors can give you that next step.
It's the magical science. It's a ride that I defy many to try and top.
The idea to write something and then performing it on stage and kind of empowering yourself with that and then other people resonating with it, yeah, I think that is always something that amazes me.
Brilliant. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an overview of what the program looks like, get a bit of an experience from some of our students. But we're going to dive in much more depth with it. So the degree itself, it's a Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Music Production and Songwriting. So it's covering more of the technical aspects as well as developing the actual song ideas, which is a really big part of it as well. As with any of our degree level programs, they're validated by our partner, Middlesex University. Basically what that means is that we actually deliver and write all of the programs, James and his team and the other lecturers, they write and deliver all of the programs here in our campus in central London, but the qualification itself is actually validated by Middlesex being a larger university. So essentially what that means is that at the end of your program, you get a globally recognized qualification just to kind of prove all of the hard work our students do. You can even get the cap and gown, go to the graduation ceremony at the end. So we'll have some students doing that probably over the summer, if not next year. So absolutely really excited about that. With this one, it's a 3-year pathway, so exactly like what you would be kind of used to in a traditional academic year. So we just have one start date for this particular program in September, and that runs from September until the following June. Then you have the summer off, so you'll have plenty of time if you want to have any travel plans or hit the festival season, really important part of it as well. So let's have a little bit of a look at the study modes and the timetable. So it's a full-time program. Each term you'll be studying 2 modules, so that means you'll be coming in for 2 days of lectures each week, and each of those lectures is taught by a different lecturer that, generally speaking, specialises in the topic that they're covering. We've got morning and afternoon classes, so there could be a combination of both. And then outside of that, the studios are open 7 days a week, and it's really strongly encouraged to kind of come in here to use the facilities. So we're actually in one of our live rooms here, besides Studio 9, where we do a lot of the more recording-based and sound engineering style modules, but we have lots of different studios available throughout our campuses. We've 30,000 square feet of studios, all available for our students, so definitely worth, dedicating a lot of time throughout the week. You're going to be covering loads of stuff in the actual classes, so it's really a good idea to come in here to use the facilities, just to kind of work on your tracks, network, and collaborate with other musicians as well. So we teach in small class sizes. They're capped at 16, so everybody has their own individual workstations, so there's enough people to be able to kind of like work with and collaborate with, but you won't be swamped either, so you'll have lots of individual time as well, because when it comes to making music, it's a very personal thing at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's why we really want you to have loads of individual time with your lecturers and the rest of the greater team as well. Just having a bit of a look at what life is like as a point blank student. So as well as all of the classes that we teach in, there's also 12 dedicated practice studios that you can book out. This is all what's included when you come and study with us. All of which have their own live rooms as well. So for anyone who might be a singer, a vocalist, or a musician, or if you're working with anyone, anything that you want to record live, we have all of the facilities here to do so as well. Outside of the classes, you can also book out additional one-on-one sessions with your lecturers and with a team of what we call our technicians, who are here the whole time to help out our students with anything that you might need any additional kind of guidance with. If there's anything you want to sort of drill down on, or if you just need extra help with your projects, there's always somebody available. We'll never leave you just alone in the studios, basically, is what I'm trying to say. All of our students also have access to our world-class virtual learning environment, or VLE as we call it. So this is basically where you can log in on your computer or your phone. You'll have access to all of your course notes. We record most of the classes as well, so if you happen to miss a lecture, if you're sick, for example, it's not the end of the world. You can watch it back whenever it suits you. They're just done through Zoom, and we have cameras set up in all of the rooms as well. We also have loads of guest masterclasses and events, which I'll be going through in just a little second. And as well as that, an excellent student support team with everything from more practical day-to-day stuff to counselling and well-being. So if you ever need any help with anything, just let us know. You'll have the full uni experience, basically. So when you come and study with us, you'll be part of what we like to call the point blank ecosystem. So a good way of kind of thinking about that is it's kind of like a small version of the music industry as a whole. So what we do is we mainly just focus on music here. That's really our niche. So everybody who comes and studies with us is trying to get into the industry in one form or another. So it's about being surrounded by like-minded individuals, not just necessarily musicians and producers and songwriters, but content creators, podcast hosts, people who are going to be starting their own labels. You can see there on your screen. It's all about having this network. One thing that we really try and get across to our students, one of the most important things, and I'm sure, James, you'll probably agree with this, is networking and the importance of doing that in the music industry, right?
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. It's all about just sort of the old trope of it's not what you know, it's who you know. But the thing is, the people who are coming and studying with us now are going to be, the next generation of people running their own labels, massive artists, performers, whatever it might be. So we have lots of different events to try and help out with that side of things as well. So things like, producer, singer, songwriter meetups, performers, opportunities to play your tracks to each other where you can feedback as well. So it's a good opportunity just to get as many people working together, not just from your own cohort, but also working with the sound engineers and the DJs and the radio personalities, because the more people you have within your network, it's just going to make you even stronger. As well as that, we've lots of industry-led events as well. So things like open mic nights, live performances, label showcases, DJing opportunities. It's really, these are things that happen all over London. Where we're based is right near Shoreditch, basically, and there's loads of opportunities for live music 7 nights a week, pretty much. So it's a good part of town to be in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. As well as that, we want to bring the industry to you. So we do that in a number of different ways. So we have lots of different master classes, bringing people in from industry. There could be artists, so you can see people there like, Rudimental, Dennis Salter, Jonas Blue, coming into our studios to talk to our students. But as well as that, it could be be from record labels, from Universal, for example, talking about things like management or A&R. It's a really important part of it as well. So one thing I always say to people when they come in for our tours or whenever I'm talking is just to really take advantage of all of these opportunities, not just about coming to the classes and using the practice rooms, but getting involved in all of these master classes as well, because that's really what's going to give you the edge at the end of the day. So we partner with most of the big names in the industry. The two main pieces of software we teach on are Logic Pro and Ableton, but we also cover things like Pro Tools, Waves plugins. You know, all of our kit is, all of the equipment is kitted out by companies like SSL, Roland, Pioneer DJ, etc. We think it's really important for our students to be able to use the equipment in the studios here that you'll be working on, you know, out there in the real world in your careers. So, you know, it's brilliant to have this opportunity to kind of tell you a bit more about the studios and what we do online. But if you are local and you're going to be in London, I would highly recommend coming in for one of our open days or studio tours. It's a lot better in real life, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But for now, we have just a little bit of a sneak peek just to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect in the studios. So check out this video and we'll meet back in just a sec. Brilliant stuff. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea of the size of the campus that we have here. Funnily enough, where the drone just finished is the studio we're sitting in right now. That was a good day. Were you in that day when we had the drone pilot in?
No, I missed this. It's very exciting.
It was cool. It was a lot of fun that day. Anyway, that brings me nicely on to our next section. So one of the most important things, in my opinion, about what we do here at Point Blank, it's not just about what we teach and the facilities and stuff like that. It's really all about the caliber of our lecturers. And, you know, basically everybody who teaches with us probably has over 20 years experience in the music industry and is still very much active as well. So I think that's a hugely important part of it. And James is absolutely no different. So listen, what we love to do with these webinars is find out just a little bit more about your background. So I know you've been teaching with us for, did you say just over 8 years now?
Yeah, something like that.
That's cool. Yeah. So what got you into music originally?
I started off doing all kinds of things. I think as a kid, like a lot of people, my school was very influential on me. We had a lot of great provision for music, and I had some really inspirational teachers, which I think then fed into me wanting to, you know, I experienced such good teaching. I wanted to try and emulate them in some way, you know. But yeah, I started off as a kind of session keyboard player. I was mainly a jazz pianist for quite a while.
Wow.
And then gradually got into writing music, composition, ended up doing film scoring for quite a while and scoring for TV ads and things like that. But songwriting had always been something I'd had in the background as well. And gradually that started to become more and more of a thing until kind of around 2019, 2020, I started to release stuff myself as a songwriter alongside my other kind of professional avenues, as it were. Yeah, and it feels you know, it's just all kind of snowballed, basically. I didn't have like a very straightforward route. I've tried lots of different things in my life. You know.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a really big part of it, you know, to have as many different sort of skill sets to turn it into a job at the end of the day, really.
Yes.
Cool. So I would imagine you did countless hours of lessons and piano and stuff and grades and things like that.
Yeah, it was a very kind of, I did go through the kind of formal music school route. I always remember the first day of being at music school, the principal sat us down and it said, right, we expect you to be practicing 6 hours a day on your instruments. And it was, we tried for a while. We couldn't maintain.
Before anyone gets freaked out, we're not those guys, by the way. We're not like the Trinities of the world. We don't expect you to be doing 9 hours of violin lessons or anything like that. It's much more about developing song ideas and stuff. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that.
Thank you, yes.
Brilliant. So just kind of getting back to the program, you know, obviously music creation is at the core of what we do, with a real focus in this program, obviously around the song. So what kind of student do you think this would attract? Who would be a good fit for this program in particular?
Anyone that's interested in expressing themselves through the written word, basically, in any kind of way, any kind of style, whether you're a singer-songwriter, you're interested in writing pop music or rap, the full gamut of things, really. We're quite holistic here with how we treat it. Yeah.
Brilliant, cool. Well, we're going to have a bit of a deep dive into checking out some of the modules. So year one, as you can see there on your screen, we've got basically all of our academic years are made up of 6 different modules covering the technical side and more of the development side. So what can you expect for a student in year one?
Year one is very much about getting everyone on the level playing field and instilling all the kind of really fundamental skills a songwriter needs to have. Because this is an equally weighted music production and songwriting degree, you're treating both of those disciplines together. So a lot of the craft of composition, which is a core part of songwriting, is treated in music composition and songwriting principles. One of those modules which Gennaro teaches, you'll hear from very soon, as well as getting to grips with the production things. So learning to use the software, to compose effectively with the software, and really kind of preparing you, I guess, for the more technical stuff that's to come later.
Brilliant. And in songwriting styles, is that looking at sort of genre studies and things like that?
Absolutely. So picking up on what I was saying just about treating all kinds of different styles, in that module we specifically will look at all of the different disciplines of contemporary songwriting.
Brilliant. It's fantastic. Just as a quick reminder before we go on, if you do have any questions at all, just get them in the chat and let us know where you're joining us from. For anyone who might have joined us just a little bit late, we'll give you a shout out in just a sec. All right, great stuff. Let's have a look at year 2 then at level 5. What are we looking at here?
Okay, so level 5, we go up a notch basically. And we're just becoming more and more specialised and zoning in on specific things a songwriter needs to be able to do. You saw in the first level there in level 4, we were looking at music composition kind of generally. And then in year 2, we start to zone in on things like lyrics, for instance, and really pulling apart how lyrics operate in different scenarios, different contexts, different approach to writing lyrics. And a lot of the kind of technical stuff to do with lyrics as well, like rhyme schemes and scansion and all this kind of thing. It's the same again with the production style modules. We have art of mixing, which is coming later on, which really gets you in the studio, using desks, recording things, mixing things. It's again, it's kind of getting more involved.
Brilliant stuff. And one module that's just kind of caught my eye there is the co-writing and collaborating one.
Yes.
Which is getting back to the whole networking thing, I guess, right?
Yes, absolutely. So many of the modules that we do, of course, they're very much focused on you developing as an individual. But throughout the program as well, there's lots of opportunities for you to be collaborating. And this is really, I guess, made a bit more official, if you like, in this module, where it's not just you being assessed, it's you building stuff with other people and really getting to grips with those fundamental things that every musician needs, of course, but every songwriter certainly needs, which is working as a team to create something.
Brilliant.
It's a great module.
Fantastic. All right, cool. Then we get pretty serious in year 3, right?
Yes, yes. So one of these modules actually is my kind of baby, if you like, advanced composition.
Right.
I'm also the module leader for that module. And this really gets quite deep into looking at the other kind of facets of composition that will maybe take your writing to the next level, getting to grips with stuff to do with harmony, more complex harmonic and rhythmic things, getting you working with instruments and thinking about writing for things outside of just the sounds we make in the box here, but thinking about writing for strings and orchestra, all that kind of stuff. But we also have a selection of other modules on this level here as well, like the songwriting boot camp.
I think we're going to talk about that in just a little second.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it.
We're burying the lead, I think they call it in the industry, but brilliant. We will talk about that, don't you worry.
Yeah.
I guess just a sort of a quick question I had for you. If somebody's kind of watching and they're really interested in this, but they don't necessarily play an instrument,
Yes.
is that something to worry about, really?
Not at all.
Cool.
No. Because here we're very much focused on learning the production side of things as well as vocals. From my experience as a lecturer here, I tend to find that during the course of the program, people do pick up skills with instruments, mainly keyboard, really, because as you'll see if you take a tour of our campus, all of our writing rooms, they have keyboards attached to the computers, and it's a very useful tool for producing with, isn't it? But it's certainly not a barrier. If you don't play keyboards or guitar, there's lots of support along the way that we can provide for those things. And there's many students as well that just produce electronically, and that's their kind of specialty, if you like.
Totally fine. People will be coming in from different backgrounds. Some might be awesome, musicians. Some might be quite technical. Some might be people who just are constantly making notes in their phone of ideas that they want to kind of develop. All are sort of welcome. It's just really about kind of taking the passion, so we can help you to develop it, I guess, at the end of the day. Just one other thing I wanted to kind of touch on as well is throughout the degree, we also have 3 different business-related modules, right? All kind of culminating with the music entrepreneur one. Are you quite familiar with this one as well?
Yeah, I know. I haven't taught this module myself, but I'm very familiar with it. Certainly, this is a big feature of this final year of the program. It's very much focused on also thinking about a career in music. I mean, we think about these things throughout the program, but really in this level, it's really setting you up for, okay, that next step of moving out of your studies into the industry and giving you the tools you need to succeed. I mean, the module is called Entrepreneur, so it really encourages that kind of self-motivation and the skills you need to succeed like that.
And I guess by the time a student sort of gets to that, they'll have 3 years experience under the belt. They'll have like a real strong sort of portfolio as well. And then it's really all about kind of what happens next, I guess, right? Graduation's just around the corner. What are you going to do, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, students are encouraged to set up their own projects, their own businesses. Yeah, it's great.
Fantastic. So that leads me quite nicely on to what happens next? What are you going to do in the industry? So one thing we often talk about here with any of our lecturers is about kind of having a portfolio career. So you kind of touched on it earlier about saying, there wasn't just one direct line to how you got here today. You had like loads of different interests all within music, right?
Yes.
And I suppose that's one thing we try and instill in our students, that the more sort of skill sets you have, the more employable you'll be at the end of the day. So obviously going from being a performer to composing for like movies, for example, or TVs or multimedia, the same sort of skill sets. So you can see up on your, on your screen there's loads of different sort of job opportunities. What kind of things would students have the skill sets to come out with at the end, would you say?
Well, songwriters are in the really unique position of there's so many things that you need to have in order to be a songwriter. Yes, you need to be a composer. Yes, you need to be a storyteller through your lyrics. Yes, you need to be able to produce yourself and mix yourself and record yourself. But you also need to be an expert at networking and business and marketing and all of these kind of things. There's so many skills that come with being a contemporary songwriter nowadays. So, I mean, just from that short list there, you can see how those would be applicable to many areas within the music industry, whether it's actually writing for people or writing for yourself as an artist, or it might be working in A&R or something with a record label, or graphic design, or people tend to gravitate towards certain specialties as well, don't they? I'm sure you've seen this
100%.
as well. Yeah.
I mean, just the inverse of that, which I've been here for quite a long time. And what I find interesting is that often I'll meet a student who's just sort of starting or in their first year, and they've got kind of an idea of what they want to do. And then I'll meet them when they're coming to the end of their program, and they're doing something totally different because they'd never sort of experienced that before. But then they're like, you know what, I really actually just got bitten by the bug for, you know, maybe getting into multimedia or maybe like working with other artists. The sky's the limit. But, you know, it's really just all about sort of longevity at the end of the day, and helping our students sort of get out there. You know, we all have bills to pay, mortgages and stuff like that. So hopefully we can help you get your foot in the door of the industry. Brilliant. So listen, what I wanted to talk to you about next is, we sort of touched on very briefly beforehand, it was the boot camp, which I think is a really amazing you know, thing that's specific to this program that we do. So I know you were just at the most recent one a couple of months ago?
A couple of weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
Oh, even better.
fresh.
So before we get into the video, we have a little bit of footage, but like, how did it go? What did we do?
It's amazing. So on the program, there's a couple of different opportunities. We have a very formal kind of module, which you probably just saw on the screen in level 6, called boot camp, which is a slightly separate thing. But in the first year, we have a retreat where we go away as a group, myself and a couple of the other lecturers, our cohort. This specific retreat was to a place called OC Island, which is a privately owned island off the coast of Kent. And we had the entire island to ourselves. And it was an opportunity to really immerse ourselves in very concentrated songwriting, and getting in the recording studio, like this fabulous recording studio overlooking the sea, and recording our demos in there. But also it was a great opportunity for everyone to really kind of, it's that thing you were saying before about not necessarily networking in that formal sense, but, you know, getting those interpersonal kind of relationships and forming friendships. And you know, they opened the pub for us, which was very nice. So we spent a bit of time in there, but yeah, just getting away from everything and making music. And it's so much a part of the professional sphere in songwriting anyway, these kind of boot camps of taking a bunch of songwriters away and giving them a task, and it's really the hive mind kind of scenario, you know.
And
it was
no
great.
Distractions as well.
No distractions.
It's very hard in this day and age to get away from the phone in particular and other stuff, to just be like focused on developing stuff, which is brilliant. I mean, I might tag along to the next one if you guys let
You're
me.
more than welcome. Come along.
All right, amazing. So listen, we got some footage from not the one just gone, but the one last year. So we'll check that out, and we'll catch up in just a bit.
This event will absolutely change your life.
As included in your songwriting degree at Point Blank, you experience a professional 2-day songwriting bootcamp in your first term in the uniquely creative environment of OC Island, away from the hustle and bustle of London life.
It's so out of the way, but so close to London. It kind of feels like you're in an alternate reality. It's got this like energy to it that just feels, I don't know, it's so like mystical.
We kind of divided in different groups and just try out different rhythms and riffs, and also kind of get out of your head a lot more. Like, you generate ideas, but then other people kind of see them from their point of view and change them a little bit, and it kind of becomes something new.
The inspiration you get from seeing a place like this and being in it is really amazing. I come here for the music, and it's like that's the only thing.
It's interesting to see what it is that can influence how you write and what you write and what you think about, as well as collaborating with other people as well.
I've now got a lot of different songs that we've basically recorded on the island that we've written during our time on the retreat. And yeah, it's part of my professional portfolio now, which I'm really proud of.
There's been creative freedom And I think that's basically lent its hand massively into this whole thing. And so a trip like this, I think, is absolutely vital for anybody that wants to be a songwriter or produce great art.
Brilliant stuff. That looked like a whole lot of fun. And yeah, we will be obviously doing this again in the very near future. Brilliant. So welcome back. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight of you know, some of the stuff that we do in the boot camp. You'll notice we have a very special guest joining us right now, Simon Janadu. So thank you, Simon, for being here. I think I said your name correctly for this time. Well, apologies for that earlier. So Simon, yeah, I know you have just kind of started with us pretty recently teaching, right, on the songwriting principles course. And I guess similar question to what I was asking about James. How did you get into music originally?
Oh, well, okay, so from a pretty early age, actually, I was a chorister, like a professional chorister at York Minster in York, in the cathedral. So from the age of 8 to 13, I was singing every day, rehearsing every day, doing evensong and twice on a Sunday. So it was, only Saturdays off. It was a hectic lifestyle, but yeah, my dad used to sing. So on the one hand, I'd be at this, you know, amazing cathedral, and then I would go to my dad's church, which was more sort of charismatic. So there was some actually incredible musicians. So I'd have two things running alongside each other. So complete contrast, and that kind of informed my music as well. And then I just got into keyboards. I joined bands, and I went to college in Manchester, and then realized that actually I think I quite like singing. So
nice.
Even though I went to study keys, I ended up singing for like blues bands and funk bands and all sorts of stuff, and just kind of got into singing that way. And so
incredible.
Became a songwriter, singer, vocalist, DJ, all sorts of stuff.
Brilliant. And I know that you have done some incredible things, you know, worked with a lot of amazing artists. Just before we kind of get into it, we've got just a small snippet of some of the people that you've worked with. I know you sent over some examples of your tracks, so we're going to play right now if that's cool with you.
Sure.
Absolutely. Great. Check this out. We'll meet back in just a moment.
Get on my knees and pray.
Awesome stuff. That's great. So hopefully, yeah, that's given you a little bit of background. Obviously, it's quite a varied, different styles and different genres of stuff that you've been working on.
Yeah.
So I think what you were going to kind of tell us a bit about was your process and how your approach to songwriting, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so, yeah, having had a good think about this, and I do this as a little masterclass as part of the degree course, I believe. I've come here 4 or 5 times to talk about my process. And specifically, I'm going to maybe talk about doing a top line, which is you're given an instrumental by a DJ or an artist, and they want you to do all the vocals, the lyrics, the vocal arrangements, the whole thing, the whole recording and everything. And so as has been touched on today, it's super useful as a singer and a songwriter to be able to know your production techniques, because you're going to need them, and it's so helpful to do that. But basically, I always, first of all, I listen to the instrumental that I get sent, and this can apply to an instrumental that you've made for yourself, so essentially a song. And for me, I always have the music first, and then I always do the lyrics second, but that's just me. And first of all, does the instrumental, is it inspiring? I have to feel something before I really attempt to do a vocal on it. And if it's not something I feel I can do very well, I'll tell the artist or the DJ, sorry, I'm not feeling this. Have you got something else? So I don't burn the bridges, I say, can you maybe send me something else? And oftentimes they'll send me something and I think, yeah, this is much more me. So I always say a great instrumental is usually going to mean a great vocal. And I think to myself, when I hear the instrumental, how does this ignite my imagination? Does it ignite my imagination? Where do I see? Where does it take me in my mind's eye? So I kind of enter into the world of the track. And I say to myself, what is it saying to me? Is it a dark or a light, energetic or introspective, playful, meaningful, meaningless kind of vibe that I'm getting for this instrumental? And then that helps me to make a decision. And I always say to people, you have to start making boundaries and deciding and making decisions and committing to a particular course of action when you come to the direction. Because each time you come to a new song, it's like staring in front of a blank canvas, and it's always a bit daunting. But you have to start somewhere, and so yeah, I'll let the track inform me as to what the direction is, and then I'll just set up my microphone, and I take the time to make sure that my monitors, my headphones mix is really good, and that it's because that can really affect your inspiration, and inspiration is the key. Imagination is the key. You need to be in a position where you can be fully inspired when you sing and when you start to create that vocal and that song. So I'll start recording and I'll just basically sing any old thing that comes into my head. And what I'm looking
kind of like scat just to get like a melody going, or
yeah, I didn't used to. But as I've done like 200 plus features for different artists, I kind of got used to doing it in a new way, where I'm just able to stand in front of the mic and improvise. And,
cool.
and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for like and I tell these to the students as well, I'm looking for that golden nugget. So it's the same with the music, same with the lyrics, same with any aspect of the song. You're trying to find a piece of gold to which to build on the song, to create something. This if you want a good song. And so yeah, I'll sing, and then oftentimes there'll be something, I'll listen back to my guide vocal, we'll call it a guide, and I hear something that's a decision. I'm going to go down that path. Sometimes you go down that path and you have to retrace your steps because it's maybe not the right thing, but something will come eventually. I make a series of decisions and I'm making a boundary, and then the hard work comes in. Once you've got that inspiration, then you have to sit down and write the verse and flesh it all out, and then play around with the arrangement. Very important, the arrangement. I often, even with someone else's song, I will chop up the arrangement.
Okay, so are you that kind of a collaborator with the producer? Because obviously you have a production background as well, that you would potentially look at changing the whole arrangement as well?
Well, yeah, because they're just going to send me a WAV or an AF, like basically a waveform of just the stereo instrumental, and whether they like it or not, I'll take it upon myself to chop it, because they've come to me and asked me, they know my songs, they know my vocal, they want me to do something to it, so...
Yeah. And the melody starts to inform how the song should be structured as well, right?
Yeah, they work hand in hand, so you come up with an idea, then you may have to sort of twist the arrangement slightly to fit the vocal.
Yeah, makes sense.
And if they don't like it, well, then they can... once you've done all the vocals, I usually, specifically for a top line for someone else, I usually record more than is necessary.
Yeah.
And I'll put down lots of ideas, including backing vocals and harmonies and oohs and ahs and stuff like that. And
so do you want to give like a finished product, essentially, or nearly finished
well,
product?
not quite finished, because the danger is that they might turn around and say, I'm not really into this. And you just spent a week of many hours working very hard on so you kind of have it maybe 75% finished. And on the other hand, you don't want to send it so that it's rough. It needs to be in a decent format so that the listener can be like really excited about it.
Just the balance, right?
Yeah, so then there's a bit of a back and forth. And sometimes they're not into it. They're not feeling what you've done, because in their heads they had something different. And whenever they give you a prompt, they say, could you do something like this? And I always ignore it and I just do what I think is right. And usually that helps and that works and they're inspired. And if they're not into it, the vocal is never wasted. I have successfully used tracks that have been rejected by people and then have been accepted by even bigger artists.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, I mean, like, there's never a bad thing. It just mightn't be right for the project you're working on, but down the line, you could just take the idea, the piece of gold, as you mentioned, you know, just the hook, could be a completely different project later on, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I've got a library of a cappellas that's waiting for a new home, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just have to learn to have a tough skin if they say I'm not feeling it, you know. Then you have to it takes time to sort of develop that thick skin, because sometimes you can take it a bit personally at the start and everything like that. So yeah, so what was I saying? I test the lyrics, I refine. It's a process of refining.
Where do your lyrics come from, Simon? Like, what's your approach to writing lyrics once you have your melody?
Lyrics are the hardest thing for me. Good lyrics, anyway. But once you've cracked it, then I just sit down and then try to sort of flesh out the verses. Or I may start with a verse, or I may start with a chorus. And I just try to think, well, depends again. So if the song is a meaningful and deep and introspective thing, and I feel like I'm going to give some of myself away in this, like I'm actually going to mean what I sing, which isn't always necessary. You're acting as well. You're playing a part. If I'm doing a dance track and talking about something that I have no experience, that's fine. That's part of you're acting a role.
Yeah, you're creating a world.
Many times you're just creating a world. It doesn't mean you have to mean it.
Sure.
So it really depends. Lyrically, it depends on the type of vibe that the song requires. Sometimes the most powerful ones are the ones that come from your experience and from your heart, kind of thing. As long as as long as you're sincere in whatever style it is, as long as it's convincing, as long as it's kind of the real thing, and you're not faking it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just someone like Bob Dylan, for example, is obviously the, most probably famous songwriter. He's not a great musician. He's not a great singer, but you believe everything he says. You know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting you say that about the singing thing, because he does get kind of a bit criticised or ridiculed a little bit for his inability to sing. But for me, character is so much more important than technique as a singer.
That's kind of, he's not Freddie Mercury, you know.
He's not Freddie Mercury, but he has his own sound, and that's something I always encourage people to explore, is to find their sound, you know.
Absolutely. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. Apologies.
No, so where was I? Yeah, just lyrics. Yeah, that definitely takes the time. It's never been an easy process, and it doesn't seem to get easier in some ways. But like I said, it's once you've found that gold, it's found that interesting thing that it sparks your imagination, then hopefully it's going to do that with the listener as well. And then that's where that's where the hard work comes in. Just sitting down and working out what works and what scans well. As James mentioned, the lyrics have to fit with the rhythm of the song. They have to fit with the meter. We call it the sort of rhythm of each section of the song. So it's a case of refining and then taking a break, come back, sometimes coming back days or even weeks later. If you get stuck, take a break, work on something else. But yeah, it's a process of testing and refining, sculpting away.
You just reminded me a little bit of Amy Winehouse, after Back to Black came out and it was a massive hit and everyone was like, when's the next album coming out? And she was like, I have to go and live, you know what I mean, to be able to kind of write the next one. I can't just bash this out, you know what I mean? So is there an element of that as well? You need to kind of like explore and live your life to get the inspiration? Or?
Well, I think Amy Winehouse, her songs are very autobiographical.
Yeah,
or they were, so again, it really, the same with Adele.
Yeah.
She mostly sings about her personal experiences. But I think that's just one thing, Me personally, I like to write in quite a wide variety of different styles. And so if it's a dance track, of which I've done quite a few, it's you're really looking for a strong hook, really, and you're not. It's not really the place to start talking about heartbreak necessarily on a dance. But then if you do
sometimes it works though.
Exactly.
I'm thinking about Robin, dancing on my own.
Oh yeah.
I always say that
It's a banger.
Yeah.
I mean, with every rule, there's of course, you can break those rules.
You need to learn the rules to know when to break them.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and everything you say, the opposite is also true. I always say that to students.
Brilliant stuff. I guess a question I have for both of you, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who are songwriters, aspiring songwriters and stuff like that. What do you do to kind of overcome writer's block? Have you got any kind of tricks of the trade that you use?
Good question.
I actually, I don't get writer. I've never had it.
Oh.
My other problem is finishing. I come up with so many different ideas.
Yes.
I've got a hard drive full of unfinished ideas, and it's the finishing and the discipline to complete. I guess it's because I listen to a very wide range of music, and and I also get bored with doing one style.
Sure.
Yes.
So therefore, there's no shortage of inspiration in terms of ideas. But sitting down and finishing the lyrics is something. It's like going for a run. It's something you will put off and put off and put off. But you just have to make a decision and turn up like a job.
Yeah.
Turn up to the studio. Turn up to whatever your recording situation and just start.
Yes.
Make a start.
Do you give yourself deadlines? Say next Friday, I want to have at least this done, or that kind of thing.
I'm terrible with deadlines.
Yeah. I think most musicians are.
I'm so bad. And that's another thing we talk about in the course as well is the need for deadlines, especially when you're working on your own, and which is why collaboration is key.
Yeah.
Because when you're working for someone else or with someone else, you have to take their feelings in. You can't just think about what you want to do and let the project run on for ever and ever.
Yes.
Having a manager would be super useful
Yeah.
as well in that scenario, or having a label that said, I need you to finish the album in 6 weeks. And it's amazing what a deadline, as pressurizing as it is, it does the job.
Yeah,
even though it's stressful,
absolutely.
but you need a little bit of stress in order to do that. Yeah.
We saw this on the writing camp we just did actually on the retreat, because I was that person providing the kind of stimulus, and saying, this is your task, go off and do it. And this thing of writer's block, it was really interesting because there wasn't the time to not be inspired.
Yeah.
So everyone had to be inspired and bounce ideas off each other and that kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
What about you, James? It sounds as though you potentially get writer's block every now and again.
Well, like Simon, actually, not as much. I think. Yeah, for me, certainly there's always difficulties when you're writing. You come up against walls, but in my experience, I think the times where we get stuck with something, it's usually because we're trying to approach it the same way each time.
Okay.
And you have to do something different. You have to approach the problem differently sometimes, right?
Okay.
I also find writing lyrics difficult. It's never easy, no matter how long you do it. But I find myself, for instance, taking a book off my shelf and finding a line in the book and using the rhythm of the words that are in that particular sentence, or
really good.
a key word, or rolling a dice, or anything basically to try to
I was going to
approach
ask
it differently.
you that actually. Yeah, a lot of people will watch a movie or a TV show or grab a book. Remember Rick Rubin was talking about working with System of a Down, and then they just hit a bit of a wall with the name of the song escapes me, but he said just pick a book from the library, and it was Father, into your hands I commit my spirit.
Oh, yeah.
That was literally the lyric, and they're like, that sounds cool. And that's what it became, basically.
Oh, great,
It's in the Bible, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have been, or a quote in a book from the Bible, or whatever it was. But so yeah, you sometimes do that as well?
Absolutely. Anything to kind of just break you out of that mindset, I think, because sometimes we do get into that kind of place of sitting at the table, kind of just trying to hammer away at something, and sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you do need to get up and move around and go outside or read something or whatever it is.
Sometimes it's not right for this project, like Simon was saying before.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it might come around later on with somebody else that you're kind of working with.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it is easy to get stuck in a rut as opposed to writer's block. I think that the thing for me is just relying on the same old phrases. So I remember, like, I have about 10 songs with the word sun in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't stop. It's just something that so I had to sort of strike that out of my lexicon, because I just thought, I can't do. I mean, I've really got to come up with some other metaphors here. So there is that. There is, like, finding new ways of inspiration.
Yeah,
so
creative
that you're,
restrictions as well, right? Saying, I'm not going to use this word in this song.
Yeah.
So it makes you,
Or I'm not going to use the same old chord progression, or I mustn't use a major seventh. Or you could twist that on its head and say, why not? I should always use a major seventh chord or whatever.
Works,
maybe that's my thing, you know, why shy away from it? So it's a bit of a...
Brilliant. One other thing, obviously, with the degree is songwriting is a massive part of it, but also the production side of things. So I know both of you have, like, music background and production background as well. How important would you say that is as a songwriter to know that side of it as well?
I think it's pretty fundamental nowadays.
Yeah.
I think the days of kind of just sitting at the piano and kind of hammering something out are long behind us, aren't they? It's,
yeah, I agree.
We have to be multi-skilled, like really get to grips with technology.
Yeah.
It's as much about sound as it is about the words that you're putting across. I mean, I know what you think, Simon.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You, the more knowledge you have, the wider your... I like to say that it's a toolkit.
Yeah.
So the more tools you have in your kit, for example, if you do play an instrument and you're at a writing camp, say, for a publisher, you might find yourself the only person in the room that plays the guitar. It's like, oh, so you have something that the other guys don't have, so it's a really useful tool. And conversely, you might be in a room where everybody plays the guitar, but nobody knows how to produce a really good beat. In which case, you do, because you've learned that here or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's another really useful skill. And as we know, music is sort of genreless now. There's so many subgenres and so many. You can't really categorize a lot of music. So.
Yeah, I mean, something I find I hear from a lot of people is the song comes first and the genre comes later on, if you understand what I mean. Another thing I hear a lot of the time from kind of songwriters and vocalists in particular is if they don't necessarily have much of a technical background, if they're coming from more of like a writing background, they can struggle to kind of collaborate well with, you know, other producers and things. Whereas I find that, you know, if you understand what a sound engineer does or what a producer does, it can become a much better kind of way of, you know, collaborating and getting the best out of each other. Did you find that in your experience?
100%, because you're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
Even just knowing some terminology that you can exchange with an engineer or producer.
Getting the idea from your head into something tangible.
Yes, for sure.
Which is why, like, analysing production and songs is so necessary, so that you can verbalize what it is that's in your head, and that's half the battle, really. Absolutely. Isn't it? It's being able to sort of realize what's in your imagination, and you need technique to do that, you know.
Brilliant. Well, listen, Simon, we could absolutely talk to you for another 2 hours, I would imagine, and get loads of inspiration, but we are just about out of time. Just before we wrap up, was there anything that you wanted to just sort of, any last piece of inspiration for our viewers today that you wanted to go through? Or sorry to put you on the spot, but that's for both of you.
I think for me, just write as much as possible.
Yeah, write every day, even if it's
absolutely.
not finished, right?
Even if it's a word that just comes to your head if you're out for a walk or something,
even
or
if
a
it's
phrase.
Sun, you can use it.
Absolutely. Try and just store your ideas, get something down every day if you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I would add, always try to be inspired. Go for walks, listen to different kind of music. Whatever it is that sparks your imagination.
Yeah.
And find those little nuggets of gold, because they're the things that make songs great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, it's like, find out who the artists you like, who they listen to. That's another one as well. You know, that'll just expand your horizons and see where other people get inspiration from.
Absolutely, yeah.
Totally.
Brilliant. Cool. Well, listen, Thank you so much indeed for joining us this afternoon. James, thank you so much. Simon, absolutely inspiring. I'm sure there's a lot of people who watch this today or watch it back and go, you know what, I'm going to start getting some ideas down. I'm going to get them out, get out Logic or Ableton, get out the guitar, whatever it might be. So just before we wrap up, one of the ways that we really like to be sort of judged as a school is about what our students and our graduates go on to do. And yeah, we're very fortunate that a lot of our students have done incredible things in the industry. So we have just this little show reel just to give you an idea about what some of them have done. So I'm going to play it in just a sec. But just, guys, thank you so much indeed for being here. And we will see you next time. Have a great afternoon and take care.
A cheerleader, she is always right there when I need her. Just noise, white noise. Just noise, white noise. I'm hearing static, you're like an automatic. You just wanna keep me on repeat and hear me crying. Get out right now, it's the end of you and me. It's too late, and I can't wait for you to be gone.
Everybody feel it come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Every feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Everybody get down when we give it to you. Everybody feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with round. Oh yeah! Everybody in the park. Everybody in the park. Everybody in the park. Everybody in the park. Everybody in the park.